part of the magical things that I've been creating. I feel like my hands are in multiple pots right now. No pun intended.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that play of words.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna start the video.
Good morning, this is John Ashford. Welcome to my kitchen. This is a segment of Orgasmic Conscious Cooking. I have a special guest today, but first, before I introduce my guest, today we're gonna cook organic, gluten-free waffles. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this show is that I love cooking, and once in a while on my channel you'll see me prepare a lot of different dishes, but also I'm eating a little bit healthy. I'm not a nutritionist, I haven't studied anything of that other than doing my own research. I like shopping at organic stores, I like local ingredients, and I've been trying to have more, communion with my body. So I'm being a little bit more conscious about what I put in my body. And what I found out about gluten, even though I love it, and I'm having my own experience of getting through gluten, is that gluten has this chemical called lectin that actually creates arthritis. It also is hard for the belly, the gut, and the digestive system, especially ours because of the chemicals that have been placed on our wheat. So today we're gonna have gluten-free waffles. And with that, you're gonna watch me cook, but I'm gonna bring my guest on, my dear sister Tiffany B, I call her. This is my girlfriend in a different world. Thank you. Special guest. Let me tell you about why I asked Tiffany. So I've been knowing Tiffany for like 2 years now. Yep. And her energy is always so bubbly, and I'm always excited. And I watched her do this transition because when I first met her, she came out, I think we were doing bars. Did I meet your mom and dad first?
Yeah. My parents.
And I was like, okay, they kind of groovy people. I really enjoyed them. And so when I met her, I was really impressed by her energy. And in the last year, she's been making accomplishments that's been crazy. And she's been receiving more of herself. And so also, this is the other dope ass thing. This girl can sing. I was at a class, and I'm at the class, and Tori and I was hosting this class in Portland, and she got up and sang. And I looked, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God, she could really clean. She can blow. I was like impressed. I was like, man, I hear a little Billie Holiday. I hear, what's the old girl from with the beehive hairdo from England?
I can't even brain right now. It's too early. I can't even brain.
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. Yes, thank you, Tori. On that side. Amy Winehouse. And I was really impressed with that. So I was like, oh my God, this girl has so many talents. And then in the last class, she went so deep, and I watched her make so many changes so dramatically quick. I was impressed by, we're both part of Access Consciousness too, and I was just like so impressed on what you do.
I think I learned that I moved really fast in that class also. Thank you for that amazing introduction. That was like, warmed my heart. I can't stop smiling.
So tell me about your magic. That's the thing that I think, the last class we're in, let's talk about you and your magic.
My magic, yeah.
What is your magic?
My magic tends to be a lot of things all rolled into this cute little bundle. I would say, I'm trying to define my magic. So there's a lot that I do, obviously. John, you mentioned music. That is literally my world that I just am in constantly. I started to create kind of like this character, and that character's name is Hazl. Hazl, no E, if you ever want to look it up. But basically,
where would they find that?
So hazlmusic.com is where you can go to find everything. And you can find everything. I'm on every major streaming platform. I actually also have a Patreon that I just launched. That's part of the magical things that I've been creating. I feel like my hands are in multiple pots right now. No pun intended.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that play of words.
Yeah, that's how we're going to start the video. And so with that being said, it even in music, I feel like my hands are in a whole bunch of different places all at once. So I guess you could say I'm a mover, I'm a connector. I move quickly, and very quickly it turns out, which was something I kind of always knew, but in the most recent class that we took with Cassie Summers, I definitely got more of a taste of what it was like to move at the speed and the space of space, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Not speed of sound. Sound is too slow. But yeah, so within my music, like I said, I'm in a lot of different pots. I just launched my Patreon, which is a whole different, if you want to know about what Patreon is, again, just go to my website. It's one of the main tiers. So that's a whole different can of worms, a very juicy can of worms. like gummy worms. But so I've done that. I've launched my website. I just launched a big social media campaign. But then on top of all that, I'm also on the road to becoming a certified facilitator like yourself, which has been the newest addition to the many train tracks that I've been going down. And then when you reached out to do this, I was like, this is literally my favorite things in the world. You, food, and consciousness, which is amazing. Yeah, and I get to dabble with some music stuff. Maybe I'll sing a little jig. I don't know. I sing when I cook.
Man, I sing when I cook, but Tori tells me not to do it too loud. Don't cook by the profession. So
I'll sing, you cook.
So tell me just one more thing, and then we'll get to cooking some waffles. So tell me, why consciousness?
Why consciousness? Because I'd be dead otherwise. No, that's very dramatic. Why consciousness? Consciousness for me, it's kind of like there's no other way to do it. I actually did try and go a stint not choosing consciousness. It didn't work, it turns out. I think a better question for me to answer is, why did I choose it again?
Wow.
Yeah, because the first time I was a kid going to these access classes. As a kid, you don't have a lot of choice in the matter. I mean, you do, but not in an adultly way. Your parents fly somewhere, you fly with them. And I was definitely a shitty teenager, like most teenagers, I feel like.
Judgment?
I mean, I was a fucking angel. And so going to these classes, my parents, I think, were just like, we're gonna figure out how to create a space for you to feel like we have an allowance for you and you have an allowance for you. And so they started taking me to these access consciousness classes. And then I stopped. I stopped going when I was like 18. I was like, I'm 18. I'm gonna make a choice for myself. Don't let me do that again. and I stopped going, and my life got really hard, really fast. It just kept getting harder and harder and harder. And I didn't want it to be hard anymore. It was really easy. Yeah, so that's why I chose it again, because it literally is the only thing that's ever created ease in my life.
Cool. Well, hopefully we can get you to sing during this sometime. But I'm gonna jump in here so I can start cooking.
Please
so
do.
you guys,
I'm so excited.
Do not leave.
Tell me what I need to do?
I mean, do you have questions? I need you to relax if you have any questions. So what I do is what happened for me for cooking is that, and I'm gonna tell this story real quick. When I was younger, I told my mom that cooking was for women, and I was about to run out the door. And my mom gently came outside and said, that's not happening in my world. Come back into the house. And I was forced at that time to start paying attention to Pamela Marie Ashford and her cooking talent, which what I didn't realize is gotten me to this point where we're here and hopefully beyond that with cooking for me. Then I got lucky and I went to school in France, and I lived with the Magnons, and I was able to hang out with the mom, Mrs. Magnon, and she actually taught me a lot of tricks of French cooking when I was living at Aix-en-Provence. I come back, I had to cook, was in the seminary, we had to cook meals, so I was always cooking. Then I went to Club Med, and then my roommate, when I first got to Club Med in Ixtapa, Mexico, he was the head chef, and so when I would get finished with being the DJ in the nightclub, he would be up at 3 or 4 o'clock preparing for breakfast and creating croissants and all, so I got to see that in person. So that's how I got here. And so this is my love. And my mom started it by forcing me to do something that turned into something that's a passion. It's orgasmic. I like that when people eat my shit, that their body from their mouth to the midsection go, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I can't remember Office. I think it was The Office. What's the name of that movie? Something Office, where the guy was being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh my God.
That's what happens, because I can watch people's face. And what really I like is making non-believers, when they say, I don't like asparagus, or I don't like this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, bitch, please.
Yes. And what I didn't realize until recently, from some of the things I learned from Access, I have that ability to engage. And I've been pinging bodies for a long time. So when you tell me you don't like something, I'm like, I can even get into your palate to find out like what's going on with that.
I hate bananas. Can we? My whole life I have hated bananas. So if you can create a dish where I'm like, this is really good, and then you're like, ta-da, bananas. Yeah. I will praise you from everywhere.
Thank you. Next time, I keep that in mind, and I'm gonna make you a believer in bananas.
Oh God.
Okay.
Good luck. That's all I had to say.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started real quick here, so I can get you guys fed. Okay, so what I've done is that I've separated the eggs. There's 4 eggs in here. It's vanilla bean paste, which has a richer flavor of vanilla. There's 2 tablespoons of oil of your choice. I don't use canola. I usually use olive oil or what's the other oil that I have here? Hold on one second. I grab this so you guys can know. Oh, sunflower oil. Yes, and Trader Joe's, you better show me some love because I've been showing your stuff all the time when I'm doing this show. So when I get famous, hey, show me some love. I'll do a commercial for Trader Joe's. But anyway, 2 tablespoons of oil, 4 eggs. The eggs are separated with 3/4 cups of water, but I doubled everything, so it's a little bit more in this pot today. There's pecans that I put on top because what I'm going for is that when Tori and I was eating waffles before, I was having issues with blood sugar. And what happens is that this has a lot of almond flour in it, which is a protein. And my body responds totally different from proteins than having carbs. So I add more pecans to it, and of course butter. Unfortunately, butter cold is better than melted butter, but my wife says you do not want to put cold butter on a waffle because it's a disaster. And also I use organic, well it's not, I don't think it's organic, it's real maple syrup. Oh yeah, organic real maple syrup. Why would man, my God, I'm not even giving myself credit. So yeah, everything organic. Organic butter, organic eggs, even my organic water. We're using Berkey water now, even with the water. And I really believe that the better product that you use, the better food your body will say thank you for the yumminess. So I'm gonna get busy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to beat the white egg. That sounds right. That sounds wrong. I'm gonna whip the egg whites because what happens is that it allows your waffles to be more fluffy. And this takes probably about 2-3 minutes. And what's happening, to give you details about this, because I know some of my friends out there are like, why does this happen this way? It's actually putting air into the eggs, and it makes it light, will create a marshmallow effect for your waffle, so that when you throw your waffle up here, it becomes a cloud and it settles when the slurp comes down the waffle. You see? And see how it's actually double? It should double the size about the thickness, where it looks like this should be able to stand up, but it won't. And this process creates the most yummy waffles you could ever have. You have any questions?
No, I've never heard that before. I'm so excited already.
Oh my God.
You're already doing things that I've never seen, so I'm really, really stoked.
So what happens is that, and this was one of the things that I learned from my mom. When I was younger, I used to get pissed off because I couldn't have any canned products. My mom never used canned products. Yeah, everything's always from scratch. And so I remember going through this process, and we'd go someplace else. We'd go to a friend's house, or we'd go to a restaurant, unless it was like an upscale restaurant. And the waffle was just, it was okay. But when I tasted my mom's waffles, it was so light. This is the trick. Whip the egg whites, don't put all the eggs in at the same time, and your waffles will be like,
It would turn into sunshine.
sunshine. Okay, so that's about enough of that. I turn this off. You want to make sure you turn this off, so if you pull this out like this and shit will go everywhere, that's not a good feel. So this is where I'm mixing the egg white, the yolks, the vanilla, and the water. And you'll find it froth also because some of the egg white is still in there. But once you get that all done, now what you don't want to do is overbeat your waffle. So I'm not going to use this mixer for that. What I'm going to do is that the secret is like certain breads, types of foods, you don't want to mix thoroughly because it will actually make the waffle tough. So what I do is I pour this joint in here.
I love all the bubbles.
Huh?
I love all the bubbles.
Yeah, it looks like a bubble bath. One of my favorite things to do with people. I usually take baths like I shower once in a while too, but
just once in a while.
But my love is actually bathing because it just does something. And I do my mantra calls, my clearings.
I literally do the same thing. That's so funny. When I travel, I look for Airbnbs that have big bathtubs.
Yeah.
Like that's my jam. Nice.
Oh, excuse me.
Nice.
Art.
I love it.
But yeah, this is the waffle. And what happened? And so actually, I add my extras. Like my wife once in a while has cinnamon sitting around because she makes cinnamon toast. So I took her cinnamon mixture and I put it in the waffle so it gives it a little bit more yumminess. And so what one more other thing I'm gonna add is that I toasted this earlier. I want to use this. When you toast nuts, it actually gives you more flavor. That's coconut. So I add a little coconut to that. Tricks of the cake of being in the kitchen with me is that I actually put a lot of work in prepping things so that when I'm ready to cook, I always have things sitting around. Okay, so now we're gonna add the egg whites. And what you do, so what you do is you pour the batter on top. What you're doing is put the batter on top because what you want to do, you don't want to break down the whites completely. But what you want to do is just want to incorporate it so that it's very, can you see how it's actually changing where it's becoming more dense? But the lightness of the waffle occurs.
Cool.
So once you actually finish doing that, thank you. And this too.
Honey, do you want to turn the oven on so you can keep them warm?
Yes.
And then you guys can eat at the same time.
So that's the thing. So here's the piece about it. You can have one. I'm going to put my next waffle iron. I like this new gadget they have. You cook two at one time. You pour some on top. You turn it, open it, and pour it on the other side. Because catch-22 with waffles is that you can only cook usually one or two at the same time. If you have a party of 3 or 4 or more, you got to keep them in the oven. And thanks for the run back. Mm-hmm. So let me do that.
Real MVP.
Do you need to turn the sausage on too?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's on top of it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys didn't see this, but she just winked at us. It was great. It was a really good wink. It was one of those, that's right, you married me.
So yes, she keeps me steady. So this waffle iron is a little bit older, okay? And as they get older, when you first buy your waffle iron, sometimes they say don't spray any oil in it. But what I've noticed is that they start to stick. So what I'm going to do in a couple of seconds is I am actually going to spray this waffle iron with coconut oil. That's my preferred oil that I use. It also gives a little flavor. But the other important piece that I forgot to mention, you need to let this rest for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, because once you let this rest, it will actually
to get like denser.
More dense, but all of the ingredients actually take time and create a communion. So they actually create a communion.
They're snuggling.
Yes, they're snuggling. and what happens is that if you don't, the flavor is not as intense in the beginning in the first few waffles because gluten works a lot different than non-gluten products. So sometimes you have to let it sit. And when you let it sit, it creates more body and the flavor is more intense. So in the past, I used to do it real quick and then I realized I was watching, I think maybe the Food Network, and I found out that certain items, especially gluten-free and batter types of ingredients or dishes require some resting time so that they can do their thing before you just jump into it.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the difference between buying something frozen and doing something at home from scratch. Which you also, here's the conscious aspect of cooking, you can actually control your ingredients. One of the things in a restaurant, you won't find them using sunflower oil because sunflower oil is expensive and it doesn't allow restaurants to make a great profit unless you go to upper end restaurant. Olive oils, those are different oils that are good for the brain. Avocado oil, corn oil, I used to use it a long time ago, but it's not the greatest product for your body. Peanut oil is delicious, really expensive. Sometimes it also people have peanut allergies, so you have to be real careful with peanut oil. But I love that oil too.
I love sun butter too. I love sun butter. I just discovered it. I was like, sunflowers have their own version of peanut butter?
Yes. And actually, what is that? A sunflower is tahini. That's what a tahini is actually. Sunflower.
Really? Are you serious?
And because when you use that, when you make garbanzo beans, what is that dish you make? Hummus. Thank you, Tori. On the other side.
Is right.
Man, you guys, much love for her on the other side of the camera. Hummus has tahini.
I would not have thought you were going to say hummus. I was like, he's thinking of some big Indian dish, and I'm not going to know what it is. Tori just goes, hummus.
Because she's watched me over on the other side doing this a lot. Okay, so we got the sausage cooking. So we're going to go with the first waffle. So I'm going to spray this. Move this out the way like that. Come down like this. Because usually it likes to stick in the middle. You close a little bit, let it get warm. Now, the cool thing about it, once you get started, you shouldn't have to use that spray again because it sets up like a lining inside of your waffle iron, which allows you to prevent the waffles from sticking, because what's a pain in the ass is when the waffles actually stick.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God,
I'm
that
busy.
sucks.
I also just got a new waffle maker and I stopped using it because it started smelling like the waffle maker. And I was like, maybe.
How long ago how old is
It was
this?
over the holidays. Yeah,
So sometimes they do that in the beginning
Mm.
because there's a coating that's on the waffle iron. So the thing you can do is, like, if you have a dog, I guess you could cook it, because I don't think it'll hurt you. And you can make a couple waffles and donate to the dog, or
I love it.
some animal outside that's hungry.
I love it. Yeah,
So-
squirrel feeder.
So we're gonna start off with the first waffle. So what we're gonna do is, I usually spoon it up like this.
I never know how many scoops to do either.
You close it.
Boom. Easy peasy. How long does it take?
And when the light goes green, when the green light comes, the green light will come on, and it'll go off. And sometimes it makes a beep. If it's the newer ones, make a beep. And I roughly figure it's anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes.
That's cool. Do you have a plate? Do I need to get a
Yes,
plate?
plates are up there. And I'm gonna keep them in the oven while we finish that.
Do you share what kind of plate?
Look at it. What the hell?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me much, honestly. I have that effect on things. Usually, when I get around, people start doing weird shit. I'm gonna think the waffle is in the same boat. I come around and they get excited. And it just spews a little. I have that effect. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Orgasmic conscious cooking, y'all.
See? Even the
I
waffle
told
knows.
you. Even the waffle
Even
iron
the waffle
knows.
knows.
Man, how's it get better than
Waffle's
that?
like, orgasm? Hello.
Hello.
I will be a living embodiment of it. Right now, all over your counter. But you can eat this.
Yeah.
Fully edible.
Well.
Okay. We're gonna stop there. We'll come back to that off camera.
That's cool. This is what happens when you put too much mix or batter into the waffle iron. It runs over the side. Real quick cleanup. I'll do that later. It won't hurt you. It just runs out. So you want to try to measure, like, I think you would use 2 of these, 1.5, which will create a great waffle. So I'm going to let you see what it looks like. Revealing. That's the waffle. And you try to get this out without burning your hands.
Every time that I see you in my dreams, I can feel your skin against mine.
Shall we?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
So this is the piece that I like the most, because one of the things I love eating my own cooking. Organic waffles, toasted pecans, organic honey, organic butter. We have some tea. And for me, when I talk about protein, like, I'm really trying to stay away from carbs. You know, there's some carbs in the waffles, of course, and in the syrup. I get it. But I'm really heavy on protein, because I've just learned with my body loves protein, and it allows me not to get jittery. When I used to eat waffles in the past, I get all jittery because there's too many carbs and not enough protein. Now I switched it around. Are you ready?
I'm so excited. I'm drooling
Jump in.
in my mouth right now. Do I take the first one?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm
Sure.
so excited. I'm so excited. They already feel really light. That's so
Yes.
wild.
And this is the butter. You can put butter on it.
Yes, please. I'm a big fan of butter. What kind of butter do you use?
I just use organic Costco butter.
Oh, I love it. They
Uh,
don't. So I used to use this. I think I know what butter you're talking about. But then they don't carry. I started using Kerrygold, and now Kerrygold has changed my life.
oh, Kerrygold. Yeah, they do have Kerrygold.
Do they
which
at
is-
Costco?
Yeah, that's the Irish butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have that right near the. Yep, they
I
do
don't,
sell it.
okay, that must be new. Because I remember I stopped going to Costco for butter because of
Yeah.
that. See, this is how much I like butter. It's literally like taking out.
And
my
actually,
power.
because and when you talk about it, it's kind of interesting. A lot of things that the Europeans have, we don't have,
Mm-hmm.
and it's unfortunate because it
They
really
got
makes
some
things
good
yummy.
cooking.
Yeah. So the wheat is different.
Mm-hmm.
The butter is different, of course, because the cows are different, and they don't
Makes sense.
they don't chem up their animals as much as we chem up our animals.
Yeah, I don't really think about that kind of stuff when I think about how things taste different in different countries. But yeah, they raise their cattle differently. Which one's which? Which one's
It's the same.
the same?
Yep.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Hold on, I gotta see what you like it.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Mmm.
Tell me what you think.
Okay. Give
Tell me
2
what you
seconds.
think.
Give me 2 seconds. It's gonna happen. Promise.
organic, orgasmic, John Waffle.
I can die now. Goodbye. What? What?
Yes.
That's the way you were talking about.
Yeah.
Where your whole body's like, wow.
Yeah. And especially, one of the things I realized when I decided I wanted to start doing this show is that when I went to my first body class, something happened. I remember it was Andrew and
Gardella?
Yeah. That's the first person I went to a body class, and it was Sarah.
Me too. He was my first body class.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Wait, it wasn't in Florida, but you had me.
No.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Totally different class, but he was my first facilitator for body class.
And at first I was like, I like Andrew a lot. I was like, the dude's kind of, what is he?
Quirky?
Quirky. And his
Quirky's
jokes.
a good
I was
word.
like, dude, your jokes is not ready for primetime players.
Whoa. Pause. What is this?
That's Costco sausage. That's Asiago garlic sausage.
Everything you touch.
Hey, you got it.
Turns
For
to
me,
gold.
the combination is what I'm looking for. But
anyways, Andrew.
but yeah, the body class, and we start talking about what turns you on. And I always felt that my cooking turns me on. I mean, if there's anything like cooking masturbation or masturbation and being, cooking does that for me. Like, a lot of times, Tori on the other side of the camera, she would tell you, I won't talk when I'm cooking.
You're like, this is my moment.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm having my moment.
We're communing.
I'll need a cigarette afterwards in this reality. But it does something for me. And when I'm cooking for people and I know they're going to eat it, I'm really, and this is where I talk about energy. I don't think we have enough fun on planet Earth.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
And one of my goals for consciousness is to actually start to offer fun in eating.
I'm having more fun eating this waffle than I've ever eaten a waffle. Other than maybe when you're a kid, you go to the waffle bar.
Yeah.
But really, that's not the flavor you're after at that point. That's just because it's the experience. This
yeah.
is the most like flavorful.
Thank you.
Fluffy. Oh my god.
It's one of my gloves.
And like the way the syrup can get in, I feel like syrup oftentimes is just like on that top layer of the waffle. It doesn't really get the chance to soak in because there's not enough air pockets. So I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that whipping your eggs.
It works for pancakes. It works for, if you ever make, my son and I made a homemade eggnog during the holidays. And
Okay.
Tori's like, oh, I don't drink eggnog. And I said, well, you haven't had my eggnog. And once again, she tasted, she was like, oh my God, it's not bad. It wasn't the
It's not bad.
It was really light because I whipped that. But it's a lot of
I'm
fat.
not usually a big fan of eggnog either.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Next time. We got bananas. We got eggnog.
Yeah. So when you were a young kid, what was one of the favorite things you liked to eat? What turned you on about eating?
My favorite things to eat when I was young. It's funny, I think back to like mom's recipes, which I feel like that's what cooking is so usually surrounded by. I feel like if I grew up in your house, I would have thought of your recipes. No offense, Tori.
I don't cook.
She's like, I don't cook. I love it. That's when you make time. No need. But so I think back to like my mom's recipes, and I don't even know where she got her recipes. Her mom sucks at cooking, so I genuinely don't know where my mom learned it. And then it's funny because I feel like I had two parents that were really good at cooking, but for very different things. Like my dad was famous for taking anything in the fridge. We didn't grow up with like a lot of money, and just being able to make something like really good out of it. Like and that came from his college days and being kind of like the dad of the house. Like, a whole bunch of college kids come back to the dorms, and he'd whip something up out of nothing. Specifically, there was this, I forget what he called it. I want to say it was called like a breakfast pie or something, but it was like this layered, and he would do it in a cast iron when we would go camping. I remember.
Wow.
So it was this layered thing of like, so he'd lay down like some kind of something for the base. Oh, it was tater tots. Yeah. He'd lay down like tater tots at the base. He'd do it in like a whole Dutch oven when we camp. And then he would crack eggs. No, he'd do the filling. The filling was like a meat of some kind, a veggie of some kind, a cheese of some kind. And it was whatever we had in the kitchen. It was never the same recipe, but it was always the same layering system, I think. I was a child. I don't know. But then on the very end, he'd he would layer it again with like usually a hash brown or something. He'd do all these layers, and then he'd crack eggs on the top. And then you'd have like 15 eggs cracked on top. He wouldn't like make it like a quiche. That was not the point.
Right.
You crack them on top, and then you'd sprinkle, and by sprinkle I mean you would bring in a truckload of whatever cheese was available. On top, you'd let it bake.
Yeah.
And then you'd literally be able to cut these slices out of it. And I remember as a kid kind of being like, this is the greatest invention a dad has ever come up with. And little did I know, this was my dad coming up with this in his 20s when he'd be really stoned. Like, you know, so it's really
I love
funny.
The stories, yeah.
It's really funny, like, when you think about it as a kid, because you're like, these are amazing. How in the world did they? And then you grow up and you're like, that's how that was invented. But then it's funny because then it plays out in your kids' childhood memories.
Right.
But so that's the first thing that comes to mind usually when I think of food. Other than that, my mom did a killer like stuffed pasta.
Uh-huh.
That was always really fun. And then there's always the Christmas time stuff, right? Because like around the holidays, everyone's got that dish. Like my Aunt Joan has this like whipped Jello with cottage cheese. It's like a thing in the U.S., which I didn't realize is not a thing
Jell-O
out.
mold.
Yeah. It's not a Jello mold. No. It's like it's got like whipped cream in it. It's called a Jello. I think technically it is a Jello, but it's usually got like tangerines.
Yeah, my mom is sometimes you can use cream cheese.
Yeah,
in it.
she uses cottage cheese.
Yeah.
It's funny because like my friends who have been over for the holidays throughout my years, like they'll come over and I'll be like, you gotta try this. It's like, because I grew up with it, and they're like, this is weird. This tastes like paste in my mouth, but I'm like, but get an orange and it'll explode. And then they're like, I don't know. So I don't know if that's just a dish I grew up with, which is why I like it. But yeah, those are kind of my young memories at least. And then as I got older, I started making just a little bit different decisions on like, because once you move out, you buy your own groceries.
Yeah.
Like I'm only 2 years moved out of my parents. No, 2.5 years moved out of my parents' house. So when I started buying my own groceries, like my food habits changed drastically. It was like my main food groups are bacon, eggs, avocado, and hot sauce. Like as of right
Ain't
now.
bad. I agree with those.
As of right now, that's kind of what my diet looks like, with hummus occasionally and bell peppers. But
Do you make your own hummus?
Harvest hummus. If you can get sponsored by anyone. Well, if I could get sponsored by anyone. Harvest hummus is my jam. Their balsamic hummus is. They're just the first hummus company that I've ever felt like you can taste the beans.
Right.
Like it's not just a paste.
Right.
It's like this like very. I have it on this waffle right now. That's how good I think their hummus is. I don't know.
Well, anything else you want to share?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like so much for inviting me to. I'm gonna harp this so much harder when we're not on camera. I'm trying to be dainty, and I'm like, this is really difficult. I want to go to town.
Just walk me like, yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I'm a dainty lady. I'm gonna eat this daintily. But really, I just want to stuff my face. This is literally so incredible. And if anyone gets the opportunity to experience your cooking, whether it be because you're the cook for a class or whatever, like, it should happen.
Thank you.
It should totally. I think you're literally incredible.
Thank you, sister. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
My sister Tiffany, check her music out. Hazl Music. Y'all, you want to hear her. I was blown away. Once again, I thank you for sharing this time with me. Go over, hit the button right here. No, this side, or right there. Subscribe.
Everywhere.
Love me. Show some love. And I'll be back. And if you're interested in coming on the show and you're in Portland or Camas area, holler at me. If you want me to come to you, I might come to you, but that might cost you. Love you. Peace.
Every time that I see you in my dreams, I can feel your skin against mine. Come play in my imagined world. Silhouettes are the open floor plan. Stand still and breathe the colors in. Come along and we can carry